Hey folks, what's going on? What's happening? How you doing? You know what? It's Friday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got shit to do. So let's get high on music, shall we? In this video, I'm going to show my latest flat round things that play music finds for the last couple of weeks or so. And let's get started. It seems like in the last couple of videos, all I've been showing is reissues and remastered records, albums. So a few more shouldn't kill you, right? And we'll start with Peter Gabriel, his third solo album. I call this one Melt, obviously because of the picture. What a cool, freaky album cover that is. This was one of my favorite solo records from Peter Gabriel. I really love this one. The music on here is just killer, and I love the hype sticker also included on there. Yeah, so I already have 2 copies of this used vinyl already. So I saw this in the record store reissued with the price tag of $35 on it, thinking, do I really need this? But I've been seeing some people on the VC Facebook page saying how good it was. And I'm thinking, maybe I should at least try it. And I'm glad I did. This sounds spectacular. Absolutely amazing. It is done in half-speed mastering, and it plays at 45 RPM. So there's 2 records on this album set. 2 records included. There's the back of it, of course. And here's the gatefold artwork. And a little beam of sunlight comes through the blinds and bugging the hell out of me, but oh well. We'll just have to film through it. Anyway, really good. Really good. This sounds fucking fantastic. Absolutely fucking fantastic. There's the label. Side 1, and there's the other side. Both labels appear on the other record as well. This remaster sounds amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing. Well worth the price of $35 per album. When the drums for Intruder come pounding in, that's when you know this is a huge upgrade to the used copy I'm sure you have in your collection and have had for years. This sounds so much better. So much better. The drums sound really powerful, but also you can hear the little things a lot more clearly now, like the percussion and the guitar effects, the keyboards, and Peter's thick voice and background vocals is kind of layered in over it all. It sounds fantastic. It's heavenly, I'm telling you. And it is worth picking up, even though I'm sure you have this already. It is worth picking up because it sounds so much better. And playing at RPM, 45 RPM, only 2 songs per side or so. So don't get comfortable because you're gonna be getting up and flipping the record over a lot. But it's okay because it's worth it because the sound upgrade is huge on this. And I'm so glad I picked this up because this was such a great find. It makes my stereo, my little humble stereo setup here, sound like a top dollar freaking sound system. That's how good these records are made to sound. And probably the best sounding album in my collection now. Intruder, No Self-Control, I don't remember, Family Snapshot, Days Without Frontiers, Vico, they all sound amazing. Amazing on this reissue, on this remastering. Yeah, 45 RPM just makes it sound great. Sounded so good it made me want to pick up the next album in his catalog. Both these albums were never titled. They're just called Peter Gabriel. This is Peter Gabriel's 4th solo album. Back in the day, it was called Security here in America, but nowhere else in the world. But that's alright because it's the music that matters. The music on here with the reissue sounds great. Sounds absolutely great. And songs like Rhythm of the Heat, San Jacinto, Shock the Monkey, Wallflower, Kiss of Life, they all sound just heavenly on here. Heavenly. Oh man, I'm blown away by how good these remasters sound. And It makes my stereo sound so good. Especially the first two songs, like I said, Rhythmic Heat and San Jacinto. Those songs have a great mix to begin with, but on here it really brings it to a new life. That's how good these remixes are. I'm just so pleased to have them. They are so good, and well worth the money. So if you're a Peter Gabriel fan, first you gotta be a fan, and obviously you're pretty familiar with these albums, and you're kind of on the fence. I would say pick at least one of his 4 solo albums that were remastered. Pick one of them up. Pick up your favorite one, whatever it is. Mine was Melt. And you'll be blown away by how good they sound. And it'll make you want to pick your other favorites. It is worth the money. Yeah, it's a lot of money. $35, but it's worth it once you start spinning it. It sounds great. So these two, just, they sound killer. Absolutely killer. Alright, last week, it was Record Store Day. It was Black Friday. And lately I have not been a big fan of Black Friday. It's just a cash grab, it seems like. Now that vinyl has come back into popularity and it's a fad again. And it's a hipster thing to do, I guess, now. It's a big cash grab on Record Store Day. And so that's when you start seeing some like 12-inch singles costing like $12 to $15 a piece. That's getting a little ridiculous to me. And so I originally wasn't going to get anything for Black Friday, Record Store Day. But after work, I did walk into the record store just out of curiosity to see actually what did come out. But I didn't really research and see the new arrivals. And saw a couple of records that looked interesting and that didn't cost an arm and a leg. I think both of these albums about the show for Record Store Day were like $21 a piece. I figured for Record Store Day it's not bad. Okay, so the first one is John Cougar Mellencamp's Scarecrow. This is the 30th anniversary repressing, limited edition, 180 gram vinyl, remastered from the original tapes, and it's on colored vinyl. Really awesome. This is one of my favorite records from Mellencamp. When I listen to this, I listen to the whole thing. First song all the way to the last song because it's that good. It is that good. They're individually numbered. I have number 1672. Hopefully you can see that there. Well, anyway, that's what I have. And it came with the original insert, just like the album did back in 1985. And it's on gray vinyl with this marble finish to it. Really beautiful looking record, actually. Very pretty, very pretty. It sounds great too. It's a remaster from the original tapes, and you really hear it on songs like Rain on the Scarecrow, Rumble Seed, Minutes to Memory, Between a Laugh and a Tear, Lonely All Night. It sounds great. It sounds absolutely fantastic, and I'm really glad I picked this up. Not too long, a few years ago, I did a video where I showed some of my favorite records from 1985, and this was definitely one of them that I showed. I must have heard this album hundreds of times, and it's entertaining every time I spin it. One of those albums I can never get tired of, and I can't believe it's been 30 years since it's been released. I still remember this album when it was new. I still remember John Cougar and his band singing the song Lonely All Night on the MTV VMAs back in '85. That's how long 30 years ago is. When John Cougar's appearing on the VMAs. He wouldn't be caught dead on the VMAs now, and I wouldn't blame him, but that's how long ago 30 years ago was. So, real glad I picked that one up. Like I said, it was only $21. I thought it was worth it, and that sounds great. And I like this strip of sunlight going across my face. Anyway, next record from Record Store Day is from the Goo Goo Dolls, Boy Named Goo. I had this on cassette back in the day, and I must have had like a real cheap tape player in my car, because I remember the tape got ate up after I've only owned it a couple of weeks. So I didn't get much use out of that tape. and I saw that it was coming out on vinyl, and I thought it might be an interesting pickup. So I went ahead and saw it out there, so I went ahead and got this. This was like 20 bucks too, I believe. And here's the original insert. There's a few pictures on it. And here's the other one with lyrics, credits, and whatnot. I didn't rate this album very high back in the day. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was okay. I seem to like it more now than I did back then. And there's the label for those who might have been curious. It is a good album to listen to. I actually enjoyed this more than I thought I would. Long Way Down, Naked, Name, Only One. Those songs sound really great on this album, but the whole record itself is a fun listen. I remember, for some reason I just didn't rate it very high when it was new. But just having this reissue and just about a month or so ago, I got Dizzy Up the Girl, which is really my favorite album from the Goo Goo Dolls. I just didn't rate this one high compared to the album that would come after it, but after all this time has passed and I buy it on vinyl, this is actually a pretty fun listen, so I really enjoyed this album, so really cool. Goo Goo Dolls, Boy Named Goo from Record Store Day last week. Okay, this is from a dig I did last weekend. Got out and managed to get out and buy a few things, so I'll go ahead and show it off here. This is from the Tubes. This is called Outside Inside the Tubes. When I bought this was sealed, and I like the hype sticker on it, so I kept it on there. It's really cool. It has the one track I really love from the Tubes called She's a Beauty. I've always loved that song. It's a great 80s song. But I couldn't remember any other songs from the album. And I actually like the label too. The label is pretty cool looking. So here we go. So I thought it was going to be one of those albums where I only like one song. The one song I know. And think the rest is crap. But not the case here. Side 1 has some really cool songs on it. This actually was a pretty enjoyable listen. So I was really glad to have scored this. The only song one song I didn't care for was called Monkey Time. That sounded kind of ridiculous to me. But I would say 75 to 80% of the record I do enjoy listening to. So it'll get more listens from me, not just the one courtesy listen I give when I first bring it home. It'll actually I'll spin it quite regularly. So it's a good album. Here's an 80s classic from New Order, Substance, 1987. I've only seen this in the vinyl store a few times, but every time I do, it is splashed to hell. So it was very nice to actually find a decent used copy of this album. Came with the original inserts that has the red design on it. The record 2 has the blue design on it, with this whatever going on the back. Just credits, album listing, I guess. Right. Anyway, my favorite song on here is pretty much everyone's favorite song, which is Blue Monday. That is such a great song from New Order. And it's so great to finally have a great used copy of this album. I haven't had time to listen to the second disc yet. There's a lot of music on this, and I will eventually get to it, but I love what I heard so far on this album. Because I bought that, it got me excited about the song Blue Monday. I went ahead and picked up the 12-inch single to Blue Monday. This is the maxi single that came out in 1988. That record says so right there. So it has 12-inch remix versions of that song. Kind of like a remix, 12-inch remix, 12-inch club remix type version, and a dub version. There's the label. And I like the remix of the song. I mean, I like the original song. It sounds great by itself. And I was like, watch the remix be like ridiculous sounding. Because the DJ will just go too overboard on it and it'll sound ridiculous. Not the case here on these remixes. They are different from the original, but they do sound great. And without getting out of hand with the, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So, I'm really glad I picked that up. It was only a couple bucks, and I always love that song, so it goes really great with that Substance album. So there we go. I am a big fan of radio show records. from the late 70s, early 80s. That's my favorite era of those types of albums. So whenever I could find one, I always jump on it, and I'm really glad I found one on this band, because this is one of my favorite bands from my childhood. It's the Brothers Johnson, and this was a promotional radio show, the release of their album Blam. There we go, and their back has some album covers from their past. This is the album cover right here for Blam. That was the album they were promoting at the time of this radio special. And it was from A&M Records, and it has the white promo label. This went out to radio stations across the country back in 1978 when the album was released. Real interesting listen. It was really interesting to listen to this and get to know the Brothers Johnsons as musicians and as people. There's also an interview recording of Quincy Jones on here, because he produced a lot of their albums and worked with the Brothers Johnson. Discovered them basically. And what I found interesting it's an interview, and they play some clips of songs from their past and from the current album Blam. And during the interview segments, the Brothers Johnson said that they like to incorporate different styles of music per album, so all the albums don't sound alike. And what I found interesting is they were actually talking about maybe in the next one incorporating rhythm and blues with country, and somehow putting funk in the middle of that, because they actually admitted they liked some country western songs as well from their past growing up. I just thought that's how musicians are supposed to be. Musicians they shouldn't just throw out the same formula record after record, because that's what made them money. In their interview, they would say, what's the point of that? If you're going to do that, then a fan should only buy one of your albums if you're going to keep putting out the same formula all the time. And they didn't want that to happen with their albums. They always wanted them to sound different. And it was just so cool to listen to, because when I'm listening to their albums, you could tell they like different styles of music, and they talk about that in this radio show record. It was such a great find. I really enjoyed that one. Okay, next record here. I don't have any Blondie in my collection, so I wouldn't got this, the Best of Blondie, because I really don't know what album to start with her. I don't know much about her. The only thing I know from Blondie is the songs I don't like, which is The Tide is High and One Way or Another. I've never liked those fucking songs. And here on vinyl, nothing's changed. But I gotta admit though, Blondie was a hot looking lady back in the day. She really was. And so I figured this would be a good place to start, or this will be my only Blondie album in my collection. Because it has the songs I do like from her, which is Heart of Glass, Dreaming, Rapture, Call Me. Those are good songs. And so I thought this would be the best place to start. And probably stay. I doubt I'll get any more Blondie records, but who knows? I always see them in the record shop, so what the fuck. So real glad I got that. Okay, I'm going to end on this 12-inch single because not very good. Phil Collins, Hanging Long Enough. I like the song Hanging Long Enough from Phil Collins. It's from the album But Seriously, and there's the album cover for But Seriously. It's the very first song on the album, and it's a great song. But on these remixes, this is a terrible remix. This is when 12-inch singles remixes go horribly wrong. But I do like the album. I do like the cover, little graffiti street art. I've never seen this before. I didn't even know it existed. So, and being a big Phil Collins fan, I thought I would give it a shot because it was only $1. So I figured, what the hell? There's the label, in case you're curious. But it is a ridiculous remix. We got the club mix version, the pop club mix version, and they're just hip hop and dance beats with his vocals kind of brought in on the fly. It has nothing to do with the original recording. Just ridiculous. So, anyway, so much of that. Alright, this next thing I'm going to show you, it's not a vinyl record. It's a Blu-ray and CD set, but I thought it's so good it deserves to be mentioned. Don't want to ignore it. It is from Rush. It is R40 Live. There we go, Rush R40 Live. And I went and saw this show in San Jose during the summer, and what a great show it was. So I bought this at Best Buy, and when I heard this was going to come out on Blu-ray, I had to be all over it because it was one of the best shows I saw last year. And it comes with a 4-disc set, 3 CDs, and 1 Blu-ray. And then this is just a book of pictures, live photographs, and credits, and each member of the band, writing a little something about their memories of the tour or whatever. There's a good looking picture to show you in the booklet. So pretty nice. If you're a big fan of 70s Rush, Hemispheres, Farewell to Kings, 2112, the 70s period is covered very well in this, especially the song Jacob's Ladder. Well, even though it's 1980. It is just spectacular. The 70s era of Rush is presented really well on this set. Really love this. This was a kick-ass Blu-ray. I bought it at Best Buy. Best Buy was selling it with this keychain, this light-up keychain R40, and it's actually a pretty cool little toy to have with your package here, and it lights up the Starman. I will attempt to demonstrate it, but I don't know if you could see that or not. You probably can't. It doesn't show up on my... but it shows the Starman pretty well. But anyway, I guess you can't see that, can ya? But anyway, it just shows this guy right here, the Starman. And it just flashes that on your wall or whatever. Like I said, just a cool little toy to have with your Rush. Anyway, that's going to do it. That was my finds for this Happy Friday. Let's all enjoy the weekend. End of the work week. This was a crappy week for me, so I'm glad the weekend is here. And hope everyone's doing good, like I said. And leave me some comments, and I will talk back to you. We'll get a chat going as always. Take care, everyone. See you at the next video.